What's up guys, this is Merc Music, and this video is not generated by AI, it's made by a real human being. Crazy stuff, right? I'm just kind of randomly putting that information out there. Definitely doesn't have anything to do with the fact that almost all of the 2D art in Black Ops 6 was made by AI. Yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about today.
Train go boom. Train go boom.
Unfortunately, there's some not so great news about Black Ops 6 happening at the moment, but ironically enough, they also just dropped a brand new patch which has a lot of really good news for the game, and this is what's just like tearing me apart as a fan of Black Ops 6. I've been loving this game, but at the same time, we can't ignore some of the kind of disgusting things going on behind the scenes with this game. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, but I think I'm gonna need some fueling before we get started. G Fuel has this hilarious Shrek collector's box, and there's apparently a diabolical, like actually gross flavor as part of this collection. You know we gotta try it. It came with Shrek ears. This has to be one of the coolest G Fuel shakers I've ever seen. Look at that thing, man. Here's Shrek's backside in case you guys were curious, but there's the front too. That is actually incredible, and I think the gross flavor is inside of here. This flavor is called onions and waffles. Quick little smell test. Ooh. Oh my god. What is this? Gonna be just dropping that stinker in there. Here we go, boys. The onions and waffles G Fuel flavor taste test. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Oh! That is the most putrid thing. Thankfully, I have this G Fuel can to get that flavor out of my mouth. I believe the collector box came with an actual flavor though. Like, yeah, it also comes with a swamp water flavor. It actually comes with a warning saying beware of the onion and waffles flavor. Like, this is just too funny, man. If you guys want to check out the G Fuel Shrek collab, I'll have a link in the description and in the pinned comments. And if you use code MERC, you can save 20% off. But no joke, this onion and waffles flavor is disgusting. But not as disgusting as generative AI. Also, I'm gonna take the ears off. I had this massive video planned of doing a deep dive of AI usage in the recent Call of Duty games. And if you guys want to see a video like that, definitely let me know in the comments and by dropping a like on this video. But for this video specifically, I just want to go over some of the main points that you guys have probably already seen and you're probably aware of already. But I mostly just want to kind of talk about solutions to this problem, because a lot of people are not really happy with the fact that a lot of stuff in this game is potentially being just made by AI. It's not being made by real people. The most obvious example at this point is the Necroclaws loading screen from the Merry Mayhem event, which, if you could believe it, there's other aspects of this event and some of the stuff in here that is also generated by AI, but the loading screen is the most disgusting and obvious example because this dude right here has 6 fingers, and I've seen people try to say, no, his pinky got sliced off. It's not a 6th finger, it's his pinky getting cut off. Well, here's the problem with assuming that. First off, if we zoom in on this image and you really pay attention to it, clearly all of these fingers are roughly the same length, and this 6th finger really is a 6th finger. It's just really poorly generated, and it doesn't really look like his pinky got sliced off and it's like flying over here or he's trying to grab it, because if you added that part of the finger back to the pinky, that would make his pinky massive. It doesn't make sense, and this is exactly why this is a terrible, sloppy piece of AI art as a loading screen in Call of Duty. It just doesn't really make sense the more that you look at it and pay attention to it, and there's other examples as well. At this point, I would really not be surprised if this emblem right here was also made by AI. I mean, if you really focus on it, what is going on with this reindeer's neck? There's just like these random, disgusting looking holes throughout the neck, and the piece overall just doesn't make a lot of sense. Even the main logo for the Merry Mayhem event as well, people have actually taken these images and they can essentially fact check to see how much of the image was potentially made using AI, and a lot of people have gotten returns saying that almost the entire image is AI generated. And it's not just the Merry Mayhem event as well. There's plenty of other calling cards. The more that you look at them now, you might be questioning if these were made by real people or not. And the thing that's really just so sus about these procedurally generated images, at least allegedly, is that they themselves can upload old images of old calling cards from past Call of Duty games, and they can use that as a reference point to generate new art. Also, wait, this calling card is hilarious. I'm putting that one on, man. But see, that's the thing that's so annoying, is that there's so many amazing calling cards, at least we think they're amazing. I'll rephrase that and say that it appears that there's a lot of cool looking calling cards in Black Ops 6, and there's a lot of unique challenges you have to complete in order to get these things unlocked. But now that there's this massive conversation about whether or not these things were made by AI and not real people, it really cheapens the experience. Like, I'm just not gonna be as thrilled or as happy about unlocking calling cards knowing that it wasn't made by a real person and that AI just kind of shat it out. And so far, I've just been talking about the free stuff, you know, the challenges that you can do and the calling cards and emblems and all that stuff that you can unlock by playing the game. But there's a whole other side of this stuff. We have a store in all of these new Call of Duty games loaded up with quite literally hundreds of bundles, and it would honestly take a lot of work to be able to make all of this stuff from scratch, and some of it most likely is. There is a pretty good chance that an actual person made this ray gun skin, they made the Sarkov, as well as the actual operator skin and the ultra skin for the PP. Because realistically, if you click on this bundle and you want to buy something from it, you're gonna most likely be buying it for the blueprints or the operator skin, and you're not gonna be buying it for something like this legendary spray called Ward, which something like this was most likely made by AI and not an actual person. Same thing goes with this animated emblem and potentially the loading screen as well. A real person could have made this, but at this point, it's more likely that a 2D artist who is proficient with AI made this, because roughly about a year ago, there was an opening position at Treyarch for a 2D artist who is specifically really proficient with generative AI tools. And from my understanding, that 2D artist would be using generative AI to make these images and then polish them and touch them up, and then they could use it in the game, whether that's for in-game challenges or for the store bundle content as well. And you guys have probably noticed this trend as well, but a lot of this stuff in the bundles is just not really worth the money. And realistically, if you're gonna make this purchase, you know, if you're gonna spend roughly $20 to $30 for a store bundle, it's most likely gonna be for a couple of really cool things in the bundle and not for all of this extra fluff. But they keep putting the fluff in the bundles because it makes it look like you're getting more stuff. And I'm pretty sure this is a brand new store bundle, but quite literally, this left half of the bundle is the things that you might actually want, whereas everything else here on the right is just not as important. Like, no one really cares about this stuff. And I can prove it to you. If this bundle just had these 5 items and it cost 1,200 COD points, half the cost of this bundle itself, would you spend 1,200 COD points to get this? I'd be willing to bet that you wouldn't. But on the flip side, if this half of the bundle was being sold for 1,200 COD points, you would probably buy this in a heartbeat if you really like the content in here, because that's an amazing deal. And I know that bundle's brand new and it's just one example, but you can find examples like this basically throughout the entire store. The first couple of items are the things that are actually cool, things that you would most likely want to buy the bundle for, and then the rest of it is just kind of junk. Like, it's AI generated loading screens.
You can't keep getting away with it.
It's so gross, dude. And like, once you are aware of it, you really can't unsee it. And it's not to say that I'm not going to be buying bundles in Black Ops 6, but I do want to offer a proposed solution to this. I really do think that going forward, it would be much better if they could have bundles like this, but then also just sell standalone items where you just buy one thing for a lower cost. I think a prime example is the personalization packs we had back in the good old days of Black Ops 2, where you could buy a universal camo like bacon camo for every single gun in the game, and it wasn't overly expensive. Back then in 2012, 2013, we thought that was pretty expensive, but now these bundles cost almost half the price tag of the full game itself, which is just madness. And a lot of this stuff could just be AI generated art, which is not good. But I know that some of you guys are probably just sitting there thinking,
bro, I don't care about AI pictures in a video game. I just play the game, bro. I don't care.
Well, what happens when AI starts to take over other aspects of the game? Potentially even more important aspects of the game, not just the pictures and potentially voices, because another big topic in the community is the fact that Samantha Maxis' voice has been replaced by AI.
You are speaking with the Synaptic Algorithm Module. Call me Sam. You are speaking with the Synaptic Algorithm Module. Call me Sam.
And while that is just one example, and I'm not gonna be diving super deep into it right now because there's so much to talk about and cover on that one topic alone, but one thing that I just wanna kind of briefly talk about here is that they could be losing a lot of their top voice acting talent because of the lack of AI protection in their contracts. So let me get this straight. We have AI loading screens, AI emblems, AI calling cards, AI prestige icons, AI voice acting. What else could possibly be AI in this game? I've seen some people raise concerns that the maps are so bad in Black Ops 6 because they potentially generated the loadouts using AI. Have you guys heard about Ricochet Anti-Cheat, the amazing proprietary anti-cheats that is falsely shadow banning players left and right and has a broken spam reporting system that can basically allow anyone to get banned for any reason? That is most likely being run by AI and not actual people reviewing these accounts and making sure that real cheaters are being banned and not legit players. And the more that you think about it, even the weapon balance in this game could be dictated and determined by AI, because the thing with AI is that it's all data driven and they can pull all kinds of metrics from the weapon balance in this game, and they can look at the numbers and they can have AI figure it out instead of actual people just determining how they want the game to function. If you give them an inch, they will run a mile with this kind of stuff, and there's really no limits as to what the AI can potentially do. If you don't believe me and you don't think that AI has this kind of capability, not that long ago, EA and DICE teased this crazy tool coming to the next Battlefield game where you can literally just type in a couple of prompts and you can procedurally generate an entire map just by typing in a couple of prompts. And obviously you'd have to build upon it from there. This shit is absolutely wild. And I swear not that long ago, there was some kind of post. I think Activision might have made it. There was this post on July 30th, 2024, earlier in the year, where Activision released Call of Duty Warzone Caldera's dataset for academic use. They made the Warzone Caldera map open source so people could study the map. They could study the data as well. Granted, it's only for academic use, and it even says here that it's for non-commercial use. But later in this post, it says supporting AI development. Open source assets like Caldera play a vital role in the advancement of artificial intelligence. By providing a rich, diverse environment, we facilitate the training of AI models, enhancing the industry's understanding of complex geometries and interactions. This can lead to more intelligent systems, paving the way for the next generation of gaming and simulation technologies. Yeah, guys, here's the thing. The AI stuff in Call of Duty, it's not gonna stop. We need to accept the fact that when they're doing stuff like this, they are trying to further the usefulness and the development of AI in video games. It's not going to stop. And even if we think it's gross, if we think it's disgusting and we push back against it, it's still going to be used to make video games. And it's not just gonna happen for Call of Duty, it's gonna happen to other games as well. But there is a massive, massive catch when it comes to generated AI content. If you look at an AI image or an AI video, usually those things have a watermark, and there's clear distinctions that allow you to tell that this was not a real image or a real video. You can tell that it was made by AI. When it comes to the stuff that's here in Call of Duty right now, it's not always abundantly obvious what's made by AI, like this large decal, or even potentially this emblem, but obviously this loading screen, this is an obvious error. This is clearly AI just kind of making something sloppy and terrible. But I think going forward, there should be some kind of label here saying that this image, this loading screen, was made using generative AI, because otherwise we're led to believe that a real human being sat down and, you know, they made concept art and they made multiple drafts, they had to make revisions, and then ultimately this was the final product. And somehow an artist, after doing multiple revisions, put 6 fingers on this King Santa Claus. And here's the thing, man, we know that an actual artist wouldn't make something this low quality and this poor, because a real artist would have to sit down and work on this multiple times over, whereas AI just generates it within a couple of seconds. And that's exactly why they're using AI to make these loading screens and the emblems and calling cards and all that stuff, is because all of this 2D art, it starts to get really redundant. They have to generate quite literally thousands upon thousands of images for this stuff, and it's probably just way more efficient and cost effective from a development standpoint to just outsource this stuff to AI. I do understand that side of things for sure, but at the same time, I feel like they have a responsibility to make sure that the things they're churning out are actual good pieces of content that meet a certain standard. This is not it right here. And for a multi-billion-dollar franchise that's so popular, you would think that they would hold themselves to a higher standard, but this is still here in the game, and even after today's major update, they didn't even think to like change this or remove this or do anything. They're just like, yeah, no, we're gonna keep it the same. You guys are okay with this, right? But going back to the whole conversation about having AI generated labels on video game content and stuff like that, there apparently is an actual law. There is a rule in place. At least as far as it goes for Steam, they actually require games that were made using AI to disclose that on the store page. And if we look at this random game, I searched AI on Steam, and I found this game called AI Asylum. If we scroll down here, you'll notice that it says AI generated content disclosure. The developers describe how their game uses AI generated content like this. And it specifically says, to enhance the expressiveness of NPCs and improve player immersion, we have integrated GPT 3.5 turbo technology. This allows players to engage in more natural and dynamic conversations with NPCs, driving the storyline forward and offering a more personalized gaming experience. For this random AI game that is not even out yet, they have an AI generated content disclosure on Steam. And what really confuses me is that Black Ops 6 is also on Steam. And if you look at the store page, I'm pulling it up real quick here because I own the game on Battle.net. I don't have it on Steam. But as you can see, we also have mixed reviews because of all this AI stuff. And if we look at the store page, there isn't a single thing. There is no generated AI content disclosure anywhere on the game, whether it is the store page, if it's on the actual physical copies of the game, or in the in-game store. There is nothing disclosing that anything was made using AI in Black Ops 6, which would lead people to believe that everything in this game was made by real people, but they're starting to slip up now. The AI slop is getting too sloppy, and we know that there are things in this game that were clearly made by generative AI. And I think going forward, if they're going to be putting things in this game that were generated by AI, there has to be some kind of disclosure. There's no way that they can just be selling these things off as if it was made by a real person when we know for a fact that AI was used in the process. That's just crazy. Because we spend money on this game. We spend money on the bundles, and we should know as consumers whether or not this was made by a real person or if it was made using AI. And they should be required to disclose whether or not AI was used in the process. And going forward for store bundles in the game, I really think it would be a good move to have more options. Stop putting these ugly AI emblems in the bundle to just pad out how much stuff is in here. Like, honestly, it would make more sense to get rid of this AI slop and just start selling the XP tokens, because this is more valuable. This is the reason why they put this stuff in the bundles, is because they're trying to make it look like it has more content and that it's more valuable. But the reality is that you probably only want one thing. It's probably just either the operator skin or the blueprint. And for quite some time now, it's just been a nice little added bonus to have these extra things in the bundles. But honestly, I'd prefer to have XP tokens and just get rid of the AI crap. It's insane, man. Like, once you realize this stuff is in the game, you really just, you can't unsee it. I'm kind of getting a little off topic. I'm ranting a little bit too much. It does frustrate me. But again, I think going forward, it makes more sense to just offer creative solutions and try to give some helpful advice, because we can whine and cry and bitch and moan and complain all we want about this stuff. But the reality is that it clearly is not going away, because AI just keeps getting stronger. It keeps getting smarter, and they want to try to implement it into these games to try to make better games. But it just sucks when the end product is not actually better than what a real person could do, and then they try to sell that to you. But before we get to the patch notes and we actually talk about some good stuff coming to Black Ops 6, I just want to point out one more quick little thing. I've had a ton of people point this out to me as well, and I was obviously well aware of this because I've been a Prestige Master in Black Ops 6 for quite a while now. But as you Prestige, you eventually unlock this hilarious spray called Boom Train. It says, "Embrace the legendary train go boom moments from Call of Duty Black Ops 3, a line that's become a beloved and humorous part of the game's history," which is very true. And as you can see, we have a spray to commemorate this. But after talking about all this AI stuff, you might have noticed something a little weird about this spray. As you can see, we don't actually have Taylor's face on the Train Go Boom spray. And for the average player who's just gonna eventually Prestige and unlock this spray, they're probably not gonna think twice about this. They're gonna unlock this Train Go Boom spray, and it's either gonna remind them of how annoying the Black Ops 3 campaign was, or it's gonna be a funny moment for them. But they probably won't think twice about the fact that Taylor's face is actually completely wiped out here. It is actually erased from this image, and it's most likely because they would have had to pay the original actor who played Taylor in Black Ops 3 in order to put this spray into the game. So instead, they just wiped his face off, and then they put Train Go Boom on a spray. And that's most likely because they only had the rights to use his likeness and his image in Black Ops 3, and they most likely would have had to pay him again if they wanted to use his image and likeness in Black Ops 6. And this type of stuff is exactly why they're using AI to voice Samantha Maxis instead of getting the original voice actor to play her again, which it's just, once you realize this stuff, it just frustrates you beyond belief. And I really do hope that they can change their ways, that they can fix this stuff going forward. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather live in a world where they actually rehired this actor and they could have put his face on this spray and even potentially sold him as a throwback Black Ops 3 bundle in the store with the original Train Go Boom voice line spoken from the actor himself, instead of, you know, having Adler's voice actor say Train Go Boom in Zombies for whatever random reason. But I digress. Black Ops 6 Go Boom. That's enough talk about AI in the game for now, at least until something else comes up. Or if you guys want me to make a massive video talking about AI in Call of Duty, because I could go more in depth on this stuff, but honestly, it's just like, it's so mentally exhausting. It's making me sad. I just want to talk about something good. Let's talk about something good. Apparently with this update, Treyarch has put prop hunt in private match, which I'm not seeing. What? Has the update actually gone live? Oh wait, there it is. That is a massive, massive relief, because I even tweeted at Treyarch asking them if they could put prop hunts in private match, because this would be such a fun party game mode to play, especially for open lobbies. And I want to do some open lobbies on Black Ops 6. And I love that they're actually listening to feedback with regards to this, because I don't know about you guys, but prop hunt has actually been one of my favorite things to play in Black Ops 6 at the moment. Unfortunately, it looks like we can't really change too many settings, so it looks like it's just gonna follow the basic default prop hunt settings, but still, we could have some fun playing this in private match, potentially with a ton of people. Yo, that's actually kind of crazy. If you're playing prop hunt in private match, you can't spawn in bots. You have to invite actual people in here to fill up a lobby. So maybe there is like a hard cap at like 12 players. I do think going forward, it would be pretty cool if Treyarch could add some custom parameters and allow us to play around with the prop hunt settings. Ironically enough, I wanted to make a fun little version of prop hunt called hardcore prop hunt, where the props would die in one shot, but at the same time we could remove whispering from happening in the game, so that way the props don't make any noise, which would really create this scenario where you want to try to blend in as much as possible on the map. I think that'd be really cool, but still I think it's really cool that they added prop hunt into private match for sure. But if you don't really care about private matches in Black Ops 6, you don't care about prop hunt getting added, or even if you don't care about AI being used in the game, I totally get it, man. Like, sometimes people don't care about how it's made, they just care about the actual end product itself, and they just want to play the game. I totally understand that, and there is some good news on that front, because on Friday, they're putting on double XP for everything in the game, including double gobblegums, and they're also going to have a free trial for multiplayer and zombies. So if you guys want to hop on Black Ops 6 multiplayer and zombies and see the AI stuff in the game for yourself, you could do that for free. You don't even have to pay any money to get in, and you'll be able to enjoy double XP for basically everything in the game, which honestly, it is a really cool thing. This is some much needed positive news after all that AI stuff that's been happening in roughly the last week or so on the game. And on top of that as well, we have the patch notes that came with today's update for Black Ops 6. I don't know if this video has any audio, but basically, they made some changes to all of the weapons globally across multiplayer and Warzone to reduce the amount of visual recoil that you can see while you're firing your weapons, and it's overall just going to make for a smoother, more enjoyable experience, which is really good for the gunplay, and this is overall a really good change. And for aiming idle sway delay specifically, it says aiming idle sway delay on all weapons is now 2.2 seconds. The aiming idle sway delay on sniper rifles now fully removes idle sway rather than reducing it by 50%. That's a huge change right there for snipers. And it also says the target laser now improves aiming idle sway delay to 2.9 seconds on all weapons in the game. For Hacienda, it just says they adjusted spawn logic. Maybe there was some spawn trapping happening on there. But this is a pretty huge one for specific game modes in the game. For face-off, they essentially increase the score limits for every game mode you can play, whether it's domination, kill order, kill confirmed, or TDM. Those matches will now be a little bit longer compared to how they were before. Same thing goes for 10v10 mosh pit. If you're specifically playing kill confirmed or team deathmatch, they increase the score limits there as well. And then lastly, for prop hunts, they made some pretty huge changes. The prop movement speed has been increased on all props in the game except for extra large props. The time limit for the rounds has been reduced to 3 minutes, coming from 4 minutes. So that is a massive nerf to the hunters, because honestly, prior to this update, it was really easy to be on the hunting side in Black Ops 6, but now you'll have 1 less minute to be able to find those props. And this is really good because behind the scenes, Treyarch has also fixed a lot of glitches on the map. So honestly, they're doing a really good job here so far. And like I mentioned earlier, prop hunt has also been enabled in private match, so you can host custom games and have fun. For pretty much all the weapons in the game, Treyarch has made some massive sweeping changes to headshots. I'm personally not going to cover this in depth because it's a ton to go over and I don't really care all that much, but if you guys do, I'll have a link to the patch notes in the description if you guys want to see the full coverage. This is basically what it looks like though. They're showing all the changes that they've made to basically every gun in the game, whether it's a change to range or damage or headshot damage as well. And this is not typically the kind of stuff I cover on the channel, so we're just going to move on to more stuff. This is actually a big W for the melee weapons in the game. They are improving the melee weapon attack speeds across the board, especially for the 2-hit kill weapons like the baseball bat as well as the new power drill. For the knife, the time between melee swings has been improved by 7.5%, which is decent. For the baseball bat though, they apparently improved the melee swings by 14%, which is pretty huge. And then lastly, for the power drill, they improved it by 9.5%, which is pretty good. It also looks like Flak Jacket got a buff with regards to frag grenades. If you got hit directly with a frag, if you were running Flak Jacket before this patch, you would just straight up die, but it looks like you might be able to survive it now. We have some patches to UI, it's nothing too crazy. Same thing with graphics, they address an issue where the player's weapon is missing during a benchmark test, and then they have various stability fixes. And then for zombies, they have a couple of changes. It doesn't look like it's anything too insane though, although addressing AFK warning issues is definitely a really good thing, because if you're running around the map, you don't want to get AFK kicked. That would just be stupid. But yeah, that's basically going to do it for the latest news and changes coming to Black Ops 6. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think about the AI usage in Black Ops 6, as well as some of the recent changes that Treyarch has made to the game. I know it's going to sound kind of insane to say this, but even with all this stuff going on with AI and stuff in Black Ops 6, I still really enjoy the game. I love the multiplayer. Zombies has been a lot of fun to play recently, and I can't pull myself away from this game. I am disappointed and frustrated with certain aspects of the game, but at the same time, I do understand that this is how a business is run, and ultimately all we can do is just speak up and share our concerns with them and hope that they can push things into a better direction going forward. But for now, that is going to do it for this video. Love you guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see some more Black Ops 6 stuff, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome. Train going.